Oh.
Red alert.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me.
Here's Taylor. Oh, wow. Welcome back to Late Night Freedom Stream. I'm your host, Jacob Ferguson, and 3D, or I hate calling you that, Leighton.
Say Leighton.
Co-host and producer. Don't dox him based off his first name, guys. Oh my God. I shaved my face. I look like a baby now.
He looks like a Smosh cast member.
Oh, I don't like that either. The world's gone fucking mad, as if it wasn't already. We've been slacking with the streams a little bit. Admittedly, it's been like 2 weeks, but in 2 weeks' time, Joe Biden dropped out. Kamala Harris became the front runner for the DNC. Several YouTubers, most notably Chris Tyson, got exposed. Benjamin Netanyahu visited America. There was big protests about it. And my Facebook feed right now is so political. It's very interesting because it ebbs and flows. I'm a musician in my local scene, so I'm friends with lots of promoters and different musicians and stuff. And lots of times these people will stay out of politics. But right now things are so divisive that everybody's really like falling in line on one side or the other. And where some people are falling in line is more surprising than others. I like I hate Kamala Harris, man. Like I don't see anybody. Standing ovations for BB was disgusting. Yeah, we're gonna look at some stuff. I'm not very well informed on what actually happened. I assume he came here asking for money, which, you know, is what Zelensky does too. They can both go suck a dick, as far as I'm concerned. They don't need either. Neither of them need our money, really. And I think the protests were insane. Like it's a testament to what law enforcement looks like in Joe Biden's America, or whoever's America it is right now. We know it's not actually Joe Biden, but that they can just graffiti all over all these historic statues and just take the place over, burn American flags, and nobody gets arrested. and they're chanting Allah Akbar. Maybe you can find that on Twitter, but they were literally chanting Allah Akbar. I feel like freedom of speech is a thing, but like if you're chanting Allah Akbar, it's like so anti-American. You ought to be deported. Like really. And this is not their property. This is not legal. Just great.
I couldn't imagine. I don't know how they get all of them together. Yeah, burning the American flag.
They're gonna burn that.
Lots of them were bust in.
Burn that. Oh my god.
That's what they're gonna do. That's them.
That's what they burned the first time.
We have
You should be arrested for that. Obviously. Like there's laws on the book for all of these crimes being committed, and they're just not enforcing the law. These people are getting, I don't know why these people are getting a pass.
And then the Freedom Bell being defaced. Or is that the Liberty Bell? I don't know.
Well, there's one's in Pennsylvania, the one with the crack in it. I don't remember which is which.
Yeah, this is the Freedom Bell, I'm pretty sure, but yeah. It's very un-American. It's very disgusting. It looks like Brandon Buckingham did an interview at Saturday's Free Palestine March in Washington, D.C. last year. So that might be a very interesting video to watch if any of you guys were looking.
Yeah, some of his coverage is pretty good. Yeah.
We've also have our own coverage of the pro-Palestine protests and our back catalog. So
it's interesting that people who, because I agree with this, this execution here is wrong. And I don't think we should be involved in Israel's war. You know, I'm not somebody who thinks Palestine is justified, but I'm also not somebody who thinks Israel is justified. And it's interesting that these people who are pro-Palestine try to justify the actions of Palestine and what happened on October 7th and everything.
Well, I'm seeing some stuff that even the Jews are protesting this.
You're a Jew.
I'm not a Jew. See?
What? What are we looking at, bro? Do you think this is genuine? What the fuck?
Yeah, look. See, they have signs saying Netanyahu is a war criminal.
That is unbelievable. That's a demographic of the Jewish population you don't hear. They look Hasidic, right?
Yeah, they all look Hasidic. They look very into Jewish stuff.
Orthodox Jews. That is fascinating.
I think Hasidic is the one. But, it's several people that were protesting this.
Is that in New York or?
This was in Washington, D.C., actually.
Oh, the Jews were demonstrating in Washington, too. Damn. That's weird. Oh, but what I was saying...
You never know there's this many Jews in Washington, D.C.
Do you think these Jews are like this? Because this is the point I was getting at before you brought this video up, is like people who align themselves with Palestine tend to be on the left or Nick Fuentes. But, so, I mean, like, are these right? Because Jews typically tend to be right-wing. That is really weird. That's really, really weird.
It's crazy how this looks exactly like the Capitol riot picture, right? But you're not going to see any of these people being arrested for 30 years.
I'm glad you brought that up, Leighton. We need to talk about this on this show because I keep forgetting that it's happening even. But as you all know, I'm a big fan of of Gavin McInnes, the creator of the Proud Boys. So I watch his show, and he actually has a free episode I'd recommend. He just did an interview with, like, what was it, The Atlantic or Esquire or something, and they did a hit piece on him. He did like an 1.5 hour long video, released it for free on his site, censored.tv. And he was just talking about how they intentionally mischaracterize him every time like this. And but he mentioned that Enrique Tarrio, and I looked this up. If you'd pull this up, Enrique Tarrio's in prison for 22 years, and he was not even at the Capitol riots on January 6th. He was in a hotel room. It was seditious conspiracy charges. He got charged like 22, 23 years in federal prison. And I want everybody to remember how much bullshit that is, and that these people, I want Trump to pardon the J6ers on day one.
He will. I saw
Period.
a post and he said that
he said that he would do it, and it's like I want people to keep him accountable to that. You know what I'm saying? Because these people, like, he's 39 years old now. He'll be 61 when he gets out of prison for talking on with other Proud Boys about J6. Give me a fucking break. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And nobody at these Hamas protests are going to be treated like that.
Now, what I see
from there's so many people in prison because of J6.
From what I've heard, the speech that he gave in Congress that day, he got like several standing ovations for him. Yeah.
All hail, King of the world.
King Jew.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. I mean,
I wonder if he's even Jewish. Probably is, but
yeah, I like how you said that once you had a better look at him and you remembered what he looks like. You're like, oh yeah, wait.
Got Mitch McConnell staring him down.
He does look like he could be like Ukrainian or something. I guess that like Eastern European thing is.
Yeah, look at this
strong gene. I haven't seen any of this. I do want to hear a little bit of this.
It's a flash.
Can we get a standing ovation counter?
Oh, it's just the standing ovations? Okay, so we're not going to see what he says. I got you. Okay. Can you find one where we see like a highlight reel, kind of just like the gist? I mean, I'm sure he's like, money me now, fight, fight, fight. And Republicans are like, yeah, we'll money you now.
Leveled at the
I'm America first. I'm going to money you now. Instead of giving that money to America.
Civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together.
Okay.
This is so stupid. Why is so many people for Israel?
It sounds like rain, like heavy rain.
Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose.
The fucking Congress is so fast,
They win, we lose. You provoke people into fucking wars, and then you're like, hey, you got our back still.
No, there's AOC slowly dying.
That is not AOC, bro. You're racist.
There's AOC in the back slowly dying. It kind of looks like her with the makeup and the glasses and the hair.
She's about 15 years older than AOC, at least.
Yeah, AOC is probably getting older, but some highlights of Netanyahu's speech at the. I don't think this is it. No.
Or let's just chill for a second. Let's just chill and talk for a second, because I'm not an anti-Semite. Like, I used to be a Zionist. I used to be very pro-Israel, and I used to go to like this Hebrew Bible study, and I'm still interested in learning Hebrew and stuff. But answer me this: how is it pragmatic as a member of a civilization to have vested interest in a society and a culture and another country that is not my own? And I get that there's like, I'm a Christian, so some Christians tell me I have to align myself with Israel because of the history of the Bible. But the state of Israel is just as corrupt as any other man-made state. You know, I'm not going to, I don't know. At this point in history, if America is going to survive, it needs our full attention. Like, we can't be dealing with other countries at all. Not any other countries. No exceptions. Not even for Israel.
Especially not right now.
That's how I feel about it. Right,
Especially
exactly.
not now when our
Especially
economy's
right
down.
now.
Well, we
Yeah.
need our tax dollars for our stuff. You know? But yeah,
Absolutely.
it sounds like pretty much all is Netanyahu said was begging for more money and more soldiers. We need more bullets. We need more missiles. Have you seen that CM High clip where he's making fun of Israel kind of? Let me find it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth derailing the show for that, but you can find
It's
that.
not derailing the show to show a joke that's related to. I don't know.
Yeah, but, you know, and I agree with this sentiment. Like, why are we fueling these wars? And it seems like they're trying to provoke some kind of war with Iran. It's like we don't want to be fucking involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's such a waste of money.
Half my money.
Patrick Cap says the U.S. is the reason Israel is a nation, so we have a bit of a reason to always help them.
I understand that. I do understand that argument. That used to be my position more so. I feel like, I don't know, Israel's all grown up, you know, like Israel's older than 18 years old. It's out of the house. That baby bird got kicked out of the nest.
They need to stop begging. They need to try their own thing. You know, it's just
well, and this is another thing that bugs me about it is it's like people point to Israel, it's the most like progressive place in the Middle East or whatever.
It is.
But yeah, is that a good thing?
They're
Like we have
doing,
we have pride parades internationally in like mostly Arab countries now. Like, oh, cool. They're embracing pride in the Middle East because of the U.S. interests. No.
Yeah, in Israel, gay marriage, I think, is like legal in Israel.
Yeah, they have huge pride.
We made it a joke in that Palestine video I made a while back that it's like Israel's like super LGBTQ friendly. But
no, Israel actually is. It's the other Middle Eastern countries that are not.
Yeah, but we swapped it to gaslight.
Yeah,
They want us to defeat the Muslim country so they can reap the rewards of the lands and not be surrounded by terrorists.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I'm just so fed up with like American interventionalism and other countries appealing to us. And then like the gross part of our cultures have gone over there. It's like we should fix our culture first before we go and try to do anything. And why would we go and try, like, I don't know.
Our culture has degraded a lot. We do need to focus on our own country.
And we need to restore our values. And this will segue nicely into the Olympics opening ceremony, because you can see internationally in first world countries, the whole world is possessed with this evil ideology now.
I wanted to open this up by saying that a lot of the videos from the Olympics, like the the videos criticizing the Olympic opening ceremony, are being copyright struck off of Twitter.
Yeah. So we don't want to play any. I was gonna, because I do want to mention okay, think about the spiritual power of the world. What does the scripture tell us about the world? You know, it's but we battle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers in high places. So why do all these artists and why do all these international things with huge money mock Christianity? It's part of the ritual for these people to gain power in the world. And this is mock cannibalism. You see the food? He's one of the entrees on the table.
There was a lot of weird symbolism in this whole thing. Oh, we can't show that.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
but they showed that on fucking daytime television? Or I couldn't find clips of this on daytime television. Was this on daytime television?
Yep. They took it down. They took it down after all the criticism. But Jacob showed me this guy, the old guy in the drag dancing, and like me and him just started dying laughing in the car.
Oh, dude, yeah, because he's like, it's turned around. It's just like it looks
like a super 70-year-old man. He's like,
oh god, well, it tries to trick you. It's like, hey, look, a lady's butt. Just kidding. It's a scary transgender lion.
Yeah. We have the nutsack slip and stuff.
Oh, but
because there's a kid right next to him, I'm pretty sure in this. You know, they're just having there's a kid there, by the way. In case you weren't wondering, there's one fucking kid for no reason there.
It's evil, dude. It's pure evil.
There's a lot of weird symbolism. China has banned the Olympic opening ceremony segment for mocking Christianity and Buddhism.
Good for them.
So rare China W, I guess. But and then, you know, Palestine people saying that Israel should be banned from the Olympics. It's really weird because, yeah. And then here's the video, the Olympics taking down the ceremony highlights video. I can try to find it. Olympics opening.
I don't even want to watch it. We don't have to watch it. I do want to talk about it though. And I it's disappointing to me that it is an international event. But America.
But that's not the only thing they did. They had Lady Gaga.
Will you let me finish a fucking thought, dude?
What?
The fuck am I trying to say here? The America is so like must like a big part of this because the opening ceremonies is like 2 American artists that were really predominant. It was Lady Gaga, which became famous from doing the whole "I'm gay" and I'm back to the appeal to the spiritual powers, the principalities of the powers of the air. Like all of this stuff is connected. Is the point I'm trying to make? And then the other dog with the torch. Then there was another singer that's American. And oh, dude, look this up. This is ridiculous. Beyonce uses these the Olympians, something like that. It's like this weird video that Americans made to project to the rest of the world to say, hey, this is America. This is cool. And I watch it and it's the cringiest. It's literally the cringiest shit I've ever seen. We could probably play a little bit of it with the audio off. We're getting copyright struck.
All the men are like just want to die.
Why are we projecting weakness on purpose? Like it's so cringe, guys.
The Olympics
the world is so crazy.
The Olympics is extremely pagan and based in ancient Greek pagan worship in which they would perform sports completely naked. Now it's just a continuation of that. I don't know.
That's a really good point. No, that's an excellent point, Patrick.
I think back in the past, yeah, but I think modern day Olympics, like pre this, you know, obviously were a lot different. They were like the grand presentation of your country's athleticism. And even back in the 1900s too, you know, especially the Olympics were a huge event because, you know, you had people like our presidents. Hitler, you know, went to a Olympic. You know,
whoa!
No, but you know where I'm going with it. You know where I'm going with this, right?
You know, like our president Hitler. No, I'm sorry.
Like Olympics is a big historical thing, like because back at that time, the Germans actually lost the Olympics, and I think that's what probably pissed Hitler off or something. But like I remember reading that in history.
That's where you were going. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's like the Olympics is a big event. Like it's not like what it like was back in the ancient times. It's like it's a presentation.
Now it is.
Now it is. But now, you know, before it was a presentation of, you know, the country's greatest, you know, athletes and stuff. But now, not so much. And there's always been controversy in the Olympics, especially with the steroid use and stuff like that. But this is just different. This is definitely showing a degrading.
Stephen Main said, I think he's referring to the Germans. I think they still took home the most gold medals that year, actually. Interesting. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I can't remember. There's something with the Olympics that was important to World War II, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There is also rare video of Hitler high out of his mind on speed at the Olympics. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah, I've seen that where he's like going like,
can we find that just in case anybody hasn't seen that? That shit's wild. Like he's clearly gacked out. If you've ever done any kind of amphetamine, you can just look at this man and be like, oh yeah, he's tweaking. He's there, he's tweaking. Yeah, the Olympics have seemed more like a family event to me throughout my lifetime. My buddy Mason Skaggs has a YouTube channel and had a take that was similar to Patrick's. And I appreciate that take because it is true in essence. I think your counter was pretty good too, though, Leighton, because the Olympics has been more of like a secular thing, quote unquote. But maybe the true colors are like just like coming out again. Oh yeah, there he is.
Wow.
He's
He's stimming. He's stimming right now.
mogging at us.
Jesse Johnson, I believe, African American who won gold in track over the German dude. Yeah, that probably pissed Hitler off pretty bad.
Yeah, that is actually a pretty cool piece of history, I suppose. I remember hearing that one.
But yeah, it's always been like a big thing, and now it's just it's becoming awoke.
Mark must be talking about me. Oh,
Juicy gills.
Okay,
speaking of woke, did you all hear about the Mr. Beast stuff that happened?
Nice segue, dumbass.
Yeah. I wonder why this show is fucking failing.
Hey, I feel very successful.
It's not failing, actually.
We're actually
making millions right now. We have 1K views right now.
It's true.
But Chris Tyson, if you don't know, transgender. Mark wants the link, by the way. So
you keep going. I'll send him the link.
So Mr. Beast, huge YouTuber. Everybody knows him. Everybody subscribed to him, I think. He's friends with this guy named Chris, and Chris, like a couple years ago or a year ago, came out as transgender and got transgender reassignment surgery and all that. The thing about that was that Chris had a family and stuff, and there was criticism with that. But as of recently, Chris was outed to be doing some very weird stuff, which included having minors run his Discord server, which had not safe for work stuff. We have some chat logs here. The chat logs dropped recently, but you have Chris Tyson saying just.
I want to add for context why you're explaining this that like a year or two ago, I saw this coming. Everybody saw this coming that had eyes to see it, and Mr. Beast deny, but it's starting to look like Mr. Beast knew that his friend was a minor attracted person, I think is the politically correct way to put it.
A lot of people had theories too, because it was like the Shadman thing. People knew about that for a while. It's just now recently coming out after several people have come forward and said that he groomed them, or we're going to say he because they're not a fucking woman, but
right.
It's just really sick. And it's like, it happens so much. And what liberals like to do is that they like to deviate the conversation away from that. And they like to say like, oh, well, it's actually, Catholic priests rape more than, we do, and they say that a lot. Like I hear that always like a huge talking point all the time.
Me too.
But it's, we see this time and time again, and they never address this. The only addressing that I've seen from like the LGBTQ community was, this is going to set our community back 200 years because Chris is a pedophile. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Yes, a minor attracted person, just a minor, not a big deal. Stupid libtard fudge faces. We got Mark. What's up, Mark?
Hello. 2045 over there.
We have someone who has came out too about, just to add context to, there's so much with this. There's the Shadman connection, which if you don't know, Shadman is a child porn artist artist, drew like child porn and stuff of like actual children. And then this is someone coming out and saying that they were sexually assaulted by Ava Tyson. Now remember, don't always believe that allegations when they first come out, but there's been a lot coming out recently,
especially tweet allegations.
Yeah, most of the time it's for attention. Like if don't believe everything you see, but the Shadman thing is definitely really bad.
I have seen some corroborating stuff with Chris Tyson too. There's multiple people that were moderators in the Discord having multiple inappropriate conversations, multiple minors being exposed to pornography and hentai pornography. And supposedly Jimmy, Mr. Beast, was in that particular Discord and left at one point, probably because he didn't want to be associated with it. So he has to just pretend now that he never knew that any of this was going on, and that it's a big surprise to him, because his original statement was, fuck you guys for being transphobic. This guy's my friend. I support him, even though he was supporting somebody who was abandoning his family to pursue his perversion. You know,
And
this is
Sonny-
what happens when you support vice.
And Sonny V2 right now is sitting in his chair laughing, you know, at how many people got mad at him for making that video saying that Chris was going to ruin Mr. Beast. And now all this stuff is coming forward about Mr. Beast too. Mr. Beast,
Well,
you know,
he got so much backlash. Sonny V2 got so much backlash that he changed the title of his YouTube video. But his YouTube title originally was something like, how long until this Chris Tyson stuff blows up? And then it was like, they changed it to
it was a year.
explain.
It was like a year or something. I don't think it was a year. It happened earlier this year, I thought.
I think Mr. Beast's freaking whole business model is being investigated right now because he mainly advertises to kids. It's things like chocolate bars and energy drinks and all this stuff. But he also has this like lottery program, or like this thing you see on the internet everywhere now where it's like scammers run these free giveaways where you got to buy something and you get a chance to win. Well, there's like all these kids that are basically like getting addicted to gambling off of chocolate bars.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Advertising to kids, like advertising sugar drinks and fucking chocolate bars. And
I saw a
kids,
clip that resurfaced, to your point, Mark, of them doing some kind of competition. This was like 5 years ago, where it was like, hey, if you buy a shirt, we're going to enter you in this raffle to win $2,000. Okay, in the next 5 minutes, if you buy a shirt, we're going to enter you in this raffle to win $5,000. Okay, if you buy a shirt, and they're live streaming. So there's just a bunch of kids with their parents' credit cards buying shirts thinking that.
Yeah, we should do that. I mean, why don't we do that?
Hey, Mark, you want to buy a shirt?
Shirt, Mom!
We would make so much fucking money selling late night CIA stream shirts. Okay,
I do. I like that as an evolution of the show. Probably not a permanent one, but it's like, I feel like we're in that era right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're in that era of stuff that's really weird. We
Shit
got
is
Mark
so
back.
fucking
He knows a
weird.
little bit about the CIA.
Yeah, deep states everywhere.
Deep states everywhere. Yep.
Man,
Kamala Harris.
Mark doesn't have a Facebook anymore, but he does exist in the world. Have you noticed a shift in people? Have more people at your work and stuff started talking about politics since Kamala announced?
Not
I
really.
wonder.
A lot of the people at my work are a lot of liberals. I work in, it's like a union meat shop now, so it's like it seems to lean left a lot of times. So I just try and not even talk to them about politics. But
Oh damn!
I haven't really heard any excitement about Kamala.
I've seen some
Yeah,
on my
Kent
Facebook
Caramel.
feed, and it's organic. It's real people that I know are actually excited about that dumb bitch. Like,
Yeah. Hey, so Jacob, talk about that one Facebook post you were talking to me about on the phone.
oh yeah, so it's the chick who manages one of my friend's bands, and she's an older lady who's
It's the-
married, but she's childless, and so I think she's offended. She's like cat ladies for Trump was the post she made. They got a ton of engagement. A lot of different artists that lean both ways arguing in this comment section. A very interesting comment section as far as my local scene goes. And it's the same old arguments, and it's annoying to see somebody that I like, this woman who's like literally she's just upset. I shouldn't say it. She's probably not gonna. She's just upset because she never had kids. Like, come on. Like, JD Vance is talking about this shit. JD Vance is talking about this shit because we have a population growth problem. So grow the fuck up. It's not about you being childless. It's about we need to encourage people to have more kids because we won't have a nation that is.
That's why I'm going to the sperm bank to make some money.
Yeah. Help
They're
grow
paying
the
double for
population.
unvaccinated right now.
What is that?
They're paying double for unvaccinated right now.
That's not true, is it? We'll give you double for unvaccinated splooge.
Yeah, that's crazy. Patrick Caps on YouTube says my workplace in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Yeah, I wonder what workplace that
We should
is.
dox him. We should dox one of our bros.
Nothing but Trump haters. One of them is pretty smart and has common sense in his mind, but still supports the blue. I don't get it. I'm not going to say what I think your job is, but I 100% know what the biggest thing in Fayetteville is.
Yeah, no, I know what he's talking about. Like
the culture that, I'm going to say it right now. The culture of that workplace is really extremely liberal. I used to work at that place, and
what, in Fayetteville? What are you talking about? You don't know.
Yeah, it's you go there all the time. It's a huge store.
He's a cook, dude. He works in the kitchen.
I'm retarded. Never mind. I was about to say Walmart.
I'm telling you, dude.
Because Walmart's headquarters is in Fayetteville, so that's what I was thinking is.
Oh. No, you're not retarded. I love you. But no, he's a cook, and kitchens are very, very liberal. I worked in the dish pit at the V, and I was definitely ruffling feathers back there, let's say. And
feathers. Yeah.
So to speak. And
you usually do that, Jacob. You usually ruffle feathers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but man, it is wild because I had this weird inclination this last week where politics, I created this stream because I knew politics were going to get to this point. But still, I had this urge to just disassociate and stop paying attention because I'm like, this is too much. There's too much happening. People that I know actually are buying the lies. And I fucking, like, it's hard to keep up with, and it's unbelievable to me because I really, really was feeling like, people like the Never Trumpers are coming around and JD Vance, and like maybe they are, but just to see these people still clinging to their pearls, like they hate Donald Trump. Their hatred for Donald Trump eclipses their love for America. I mean, that's what it is. They hate Donald Trump more than they love America. It's just, it's obnoxious. It's get over yourself. Okay, he's not your favorite candidate. He's clearly better for the country than Kamala by any measure.
Oh yeah, hold on. I want to bring this up. Has anybody seen this video?
Ukraine is a country in
50-50,
Europe.
I would say.
It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
Wow, yeah, such a deep understanding of global politics.
She's so uninterested in every speech she's ever did. She sounds like she's high the whole time, which she was, but that came out like in 2020 that she smoked weed in college.
Well, she was bragging about that, trying to appeal to black voters, while her record as a prosecutor shows that she was putting people in prison for fucking weed.
Which she's also not. She's also not black. Anybody that says that she's black is an idiot. She's an Indian.
But she likes to listen to Snoop Dogg when she gets high. When she was on the Charlemagne the God or whatever. That's what she said.
The Breakfast Club.
I did see this really stupid post, which was you wake up on November 6th and this is the result. What happened?
Well, don't say right now, but we'll talk about it later.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding. Dude. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. Because this is a conversation I've been having with a lot of people in private. But because I see people supporting Harris. I'm going to be frank when I say I think the election was stolen last time. I do. I think the election's going to be more secure this time because there's a lot of people that feel the way that I do. Okay, and I'm hoping the election will be more secure this time. And I just wonder, and I hate to even think that some kind of majority of the population could be so brainwashed. Is there any chance that many people are actually so far gone in our culture? Like,
it's the I'm with her thing, like we were talking about the other day. It's such a weak political phrase in it, but it's something that like people are like, yeah, I want a woman president. Why not? And it's so stupid because that's the thing is that people they're voting to break glass ceilings. They aren't voting to fix this country. They don't know what they're doing. They think that, oh, she's a woman president, she will be amazing, you know. She's not Trump, you know, she'll be amazing, you know. And that's just not right. That's just not the case in this, because if you're solely voting someone because they're a woman, you're an idiot. Okay. I just like that, like, because that was happening in 2016. People were voting for Hillary just because she was a woman, and that was her whole campaign strategy, was saying, I'm with her, I want a woman president, you know.
You mean Hillary?
Yeah, Hillary.
Yeah.
But Kamala's doing the same. I have a political ad somewhere buried.
Here, don't bulldoze. I've got to get to this comment, and I want Mark's take.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Mark.
I mean, I was just gonna say about that, they've trained people like 1984 style to be an upside down world where war is peace, slavery is freedom. And they've done that enough to where people have the memory of a goldfish, and they can just week to week give you what the new truth is supposed to be. And people will parrot that because they think that's what everyone else is doing. They don't really they're not questioning themselves or if there's any ultimate truth to it. They just know this is what people are saying, so they're just going to repeat it.
Yes,
but I don't think there's that many. I mean, it could be online bots. Like these people, I don't really think they have the influence that people think they do, especially in recent years. Like if you just look at the shift in media culture, like Tucker Carlson was bigger by himself than he was on Fox News. So It's like the whole media culture has shifted.
Yeah.
And you know, like what people are saying on mainstream media doesn't really matter anymore. Like everyone on mainstream media is saying this is the most united Democrats have ever been. It's just like anyone who's looking around knows that that's not true.
Right.
Like the inside fighting over Biden was insane.
Yes.
So
yeah, it really was. Did you see AOC coming out thinking she was saying something groundbreaking? She's like talking about how they wanted to kick Joe Biden out of the party and how she was defending him. And this was like a week ago. You know, she probably, I don't know if this clip is, she's probably embarrassed by it now, but she's like trying to like expose this infighting. Like, you wouldn't believe this. It's like, yeah, we obviously, clearly AOC, you goose.
Yeah. I would have expected AOC would have ran as president, but
dude, God,
you wouldn't have won, but you know, I mean, like that's obviously the end goal for her. That's the end goal for any senator, I think, or representative or whatever.
What are you doing, Mark?
I'm trying to look up funny videos to show you on my Instagram.
Oh, okay. No, your green screen just started to consume you. I thought you were like.
I can turn it to a ghost whenever I want.
I do have a Kamala Harris political ad.
Oh yeah.
She's the district attorney who protected children from sexual predators. She's the attorney general who stood up to the big banks to protect homeowners and won. The senator who fought to defend a woman's right to make her own medical decisions. And the vice president who fought to cap the price of insulin at $35 a month. As America turns the page, Kamala is ready. FFPAC's responsible for the content of this ad.
I kind of get if you didn't know anything about how politics truly are operating. If you just like, as you're just like the biggest NPC in the world, you saw that, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds good. Like that's not a terrible campaign ad as far like I saw another one of hers that was much worse. It was much worse.
Here's another one. This one's slamming Trump, so that will be interesting.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the.
She shut down for profit that swindled Americans.
Fucking break.
She was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion. He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump. So if that's what you're looking for in your next president, there's really only one.
The pitch! That's the pitch! She's anti-Trump. That's the pitch.
She's a bitch, yeah.
No,
So
that's
vote
the
for the
pitch. That's all they have.
Yeah,
She's
well,
anti-Trump,
they
so
said
vote
the
for the most
same point.
liberal. She was the most liberal senator ever. If you look at her rating for being a Democrat, she was as far left as you could possibly be. Number one for being the most liberal.
More so than Bernie
it's
Sanders, even.
I was about to make this point, Patrick, so good job. Protected children from sexual predators. She supports the entire gender transitioning ideal. She is evil and does not stand up for the United States morals. Biblically, the Old Testament made her laws.
Oh, I do want to give this. I do want to float this comment. He says, "Dude, this is the reason. This is relating to. Let me see if I can remember as I read it. Dude, this is the reason why we should be helping Israel. Besides the biblical reasons, we have a finding that Israel is the most advanced country in the Middle East, where democracy is most prevalent. It's like that's people. This is kind of. I will. My counter to this would be the same argument I was kind of making earlier, where people." This is a common argument, and my main qualm with this is, what does first world mean, and what are American values? Because if first world American values that we're exporting means that Israel has one of the biggest pride parades, then I'm not interested in how first world and cosmopolitan Israel is. That's not a plus that it's so first world that it's got into this confusion and this evil that our culture has slipped into. Dude, I know the Israel thing is contentious. I'm good. I disagree with a lot of my friends on this, and I'm open to changing my mind. And I've been on both sides of this thing, so it's just at this point, my contention is just we have to fix our own country. Israel has some serious problems of its own, and I'm seeing signs of the same cultural decay, the same kind of Sodom and Gomorrah kind of signs happening to Israel that are happening to America. So I don't think us giving them more money and them like helping pimp out our culture in the Middle East is really doing any good for anybody at this point. And that's a super general thing I just said at the end. Not good for anybody. Clearly that's not true in some capacity, but it's not good for Americans. Like I just feel as a taxpayer, I want to be America first legitimately. That's what I'm interested in. Maybe on Judgment Day, God will tell me I'm going to hell because I didn't support Israel. Certainly hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of what Christians make it feel
Jacob,
like.
you were a good Christian, but listen, you didn't support Israel, so you're going to hell.
I'm not trying to straw man Patrick. Patrick isn't saying that, but I get that impression from a lot of Christians that I talk to, that it's like you either support Israel or you're on the wrong side of God.
Well,
So
he
Marcus,
said he will bless those who bless thee.
Right. Well, what is your interpretation of that scripture, Mark? Like, since you throw out, because
you
you're
got
not
to
a
read the context.
dispensationalist,
You got to read the context of it, because it's he'll bless those who bless thee and curse those who curse thee, so that all of the nations of the world will be blessed. So it's talking about Jesus being a blessing to the whole world, which a lot of Jews don't believe in. So it's just, if you're looking at the biblical reasons, I think it's like the exact opposite. The Jews aren't in the covenant promises of God anymore, if you believe the Bible. So to justify it through that reason, I think Israel has a right to exist as a nation if they want to, but they want to do that on their own. If they exist on the premise that we have to fight every proxy war in the Middle East for them, well, then they can't last for like a normal nation would last for a long time like that. It's just like this. That's kind of just like an unsustainable business model that we have with them, where it's like taking a turn where now it's like our own interests are being compromised because we have to support Israel.
Stephen, to answer your question about what Jewish people in Israel believe about Christians, I think Jesus is burning in hell and living in shit. So just remember that.
And that's not to say like what Patrick's saying is that it's a significant land, and that's true.
It is very
what's going on there right now is significant, and it's spiritually significant, but that doesn't mean we have to support it in every capacity, especially if people are like, this is what needs to happen before Jesus can come back. We need to bring the Antichrist's reign in and all that. It's just like, you are not the one who's responsible for making all this happen. God is. So, you're responsible for preaching the gospel.
Christians should take Israel back. Yeah,
Hey,
there's a lot.
Patrick and Steven, I'm going to go ahead and just send you guys links. If you want to get in on the discussion, you are permitted.
Now, before we do that, Mark was talking about funny things on the internet. I have to show this. Okay, this is from the Olympics, but it's so funny. I have to show you guys.
Recording his own screen is what makes it funny. I feel like
that was fucking great. The cripple doing like little spins to Giroud's.
I don't even have anything against that. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's ridiculous to see. It makes like you want to laugh as a guttural instinct because it's just like bizarre, but it's like impressive.
Oh, Chris Tyson.
Can I show you some of
out.
Yeah, Mark, hook us up with some. What you got?
My internet sucks right now, so hopefully it works. But let me see if I can.
Okay.
Share it,
if it don't.
and get the audio going.
Never goon.
Never goon. I'm gonna send Patrick Caps the link to this live stream. Yeah.
I apologize.
Marcus isn't gonna work.
No, it cut out.
He died.
Yeah.
Mark looks like an evil.
He fried his computer trying to do that. All right, Mark.
He fried his computer.
Yeah, his house.
Hey, we got Patrick and we got Dead Mark.
What up?
Hey, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on again. Got these.
Yes, sir.
Bringing in the dopest. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we might get Mark back in
right
on.
there.
You, Patrick, so you're interesting because something that I liked about you when I first met you was that I recognized that you were another young man who was into Hebrew. And I was trying to learn Hebrew at the time.
Yeah, well, you know who I am is I worship Yahweh. And so Yahweh created, he's the one that the entire Bible, like if you get the King James.
Wait, can we pause for 1 second? I'm sorry. Mark, don't ever play a video again. I thought you exploded. I thought you were
my
dead,
PC
dude.
Exploded.
I thought your whole house combusted, dude. Okay, anyways.
Well, the entire Bible, it's like they've taken the name Yahweh out like a bajillion times. I mean, like millions of times, or not millions, like at least like 200 or 6,000 and something. But
it's the Hebrew name for Jesus.
Oh no, Yahweh is the original transcription of like every time you see the Lord in the Bible, it's actually Yahweh. It says Yahweh.
Oh, that's right.
And then
it's
whenever
Yeshua.
you see, Yahshua is the name of the Messiah in the New Testament. And so, and that actually means Yahweh's salvation. But yeah, no, that's just what I was having to say. Yep.
Well, and I brought that up that I appreciated that about you when I first met you because I'm interested in Hebrew too. But where I've kind of gone with my journey with all that is I think salvation is more essential than I think having the Bible in common language is good. So I don't disrespect anybody who refers to God and Jesus as Yahweh or Yeshua, but I just feel like as an American and a Westerner, I convey my message more clearly to other people in my culture by just using the language we're all familiar
I
with.
like that you have an interest in Hebrew because to gain a deeper understanding of the Bible, you've got to look into Hebrew, like the original Hebrew language. And it's I think that the Hebrew language is like math, like a lot of numbers put into each letter. and then each letter like kind of represents kind of an equation. And so they like every single word in the Hebrew language is something around it's like a mathematical equation. I think that's really interesting. I've got to look more into it myself.
I think the characters are beautiful too. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but lots of those ancient languages, like Hebrew kind of has that same feel as like some kind of like Chinese characters. There's a beauty to the way that it is constructed. Greek too, to a certain extent, I suppose. But why, like, so you consider yourself a Zionist, I take it from your comments.
A Zionist? To where Israel is a sovereign nation?
Well, just as far as like America needing to support Israel.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I do believe we should be supporting Israel. Like they have been like very instrumental in a lot of the theater of the Middle East. Like they've been the ones that
I don't know if that's a good thing. Fuck, the Middle East sucks.
I mean, yeah, no, they've done some bad shit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but in the end, like what nation hasn't done bad things? Like, I mean, the United States, you know, we could look on ourselves and be like, oh my goodness, we did slavery. We blew people up for no freaking
I think they have a right to exist. I do think they have a right to exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they can enforce their own border, is kind of like
they can. They can. That's the awesome thing is that they have the Iron Dome. They made that shit themselves, bro. Like there's no other country that can compare. Like
why don't we have an Iron Dome?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Did you guys listen to Netanyahu's speech before Congress?
No.
Oh yeah, I listened to a little bit of it.
I mean, the part I thought was interesting. He talks about if an American president gets taken out by Iran, that he said we'd have no choice but to go into like all-out war with Iran. And it's just like stuff like that. That's kind of like it's almost is that what they just tried?
Yeah. Iran. Have you seen 9/11's reaction? Yeah, if Iran killed our president, I think we'd probably go to war with Iran.
We've assassinated Iranian officials that just
buy Iran more.
Well, I believe Iran is driven by a desire to destroy the West. I mean, they have their Muslim identity, and in their Muslim identity, they have it's kind of like the Hamas charter, where they will kill all the lackeys of the Jews, and they hate Jews. They do. So it doesn't just stop with Israel. It goes on. It's like Hitler. They're like Hitler, for real. Like they want to kill all the Jews.
Oh.
And there's never going to be a lack of Jews in the world. I mean, there's going to be Jews everywhere.
Hey, my Jewish little friend, hold up a second. I'm just kidding. That's not nice. I don't mean that.
I'm not Jewish. I'm not Jewish.
No, you're not. I'm just teasing you. Steven, welcome. This is Steven's first time on the stream. We're so honored to have you, dude. If you want to tell people who you are for a second here.
I don't know if I mean, I don't really need an introduction. I don't know. I'm just a average American,
I'll give you one. Steven's a very cool guy. He I reconnected with him at boxing, and he's a veteran of the United States Army. Is that right?
Yeah, 10 years of the Army.
Recently got married, had his first child.
Yep.
It's
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Congrats.
Now
Thank you.
let's get really deep here, okay? Because I know that you guys have like conflicting opinions of Israel. What do you think of Israel, Stephen? Because I know you were very you had a very,
especially like with all the Netanyahu, like the standing ovations and everything, like how it's almost enforced on the American public that you have to stand with Israel, you have to stand with Israel. I think they're pulling us into all these proxy wars in the Middle East so we can fight the wars for them. They want us to fight Iran, which is going to just cause, complete chaos in the Middle East. The only reason Iran was sat back in the sidelines for so long was because Saddam Hussein in Iraq, he kept checking. I mean, he was the power of the Middle East until we went in and killed him, and then we caused utter chaos in the Middle East. And now that we've drawn out, there's been a complete vacuum. There's the terrorist organizations, Al Qaeda, the Taliban, ISIS. They're all stronger now than any of them were pre 9/11. There's more of them now than ever. I mean, we spent 20 years in the Middle East killing and killing and killing, and I can't remember who said it, but it's the terrorist math. You kill one and you create three. You kill one man, and then all of the other men in his family that had never thought about fighting before, now they're upset with us and they want to fight. So we've created more terrorists in the last 20 years than, there was in the beginning.
I agree.
Damn.
I do think that definitely post 9/11 we created a lot of terrorists. I mean,
yeah.
That is such a useful point to make in this discussion, because I wasn't really thinking about that while we were having this conversation, but that appears to be abundantly true.
Well,
I think
I
the
believe
CIA
that,
term is blowback.
I believe that the United States has, in our past and history, we've always stood first for democracy in the world. Like whenever Vietnam happened, the North invaded the South because of communist ideas, and they wanted to take over the South and get rid of the democracy that was put in place.
Oh, this is going to go deep, boys.
But that's a them problem. That's not a us problem.
Go deep.
At the time, Kennedy did not want us to go
against it. A lot of people fought against it, but at the same time, like what we were doing, like the whole world police thing, is kind of cool. I think that we kind of show our strength whenever we say communism is bad and the democracies are good, because we're standing up for the people that can't stand up for themselves. And I think that's an awesome thing. I think that's an amazing thing that the United States can do. Like we have the power to do that. We have the most powerful military that is in the world. And our country is pretty self-sufficient. We do things where we support ourselves. And so we go and help others. I think that's so cool. I do. But
I want to get in on this. In theory, I agree with you that the idea of if we looked at sovereign countries and states, if we were doing like a metaphor, like individuals, because like if you're talking about individuals, I kind of agree with you. Like I get into other people's business. I stick my nose where it doesn't belong because I care about people and I get myself in weird situations sometimes. And it's like if you're an individual and you have that, if you're an individual and you have that thing, yeah, good. But as like states aren't people. We can't really operate that way because our state, we all know that we're being psyoped by the media and the government and that there's bad actors. So this whole idea that like it kind of goes back to our culture got away from us. So American culture is proud of progress. And Israel shows that now with the pride parades and the rainbow flags. So it's like, what are we exporting? What is this idea of democracy? We're exporting degeneracy at this rate. And, in the Middle East, like kind of like what Stephen was saying, I can only imagine that these fundamental Muslims seeing American values as rainbow flags and Black Lives Matter only make them hate us more because it's clearly degenerate.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to start by saying the cigar is definitely fat. Like, you've got a fat cigar, bro.
Yeah,
we got our top G.
Only Soprano.
Yeah, top G in the house. Zero muscle.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
No, you got a good definition.
Dude, it's been 2 weeks since I've been in the gym. I'm kind of hating myself for it. Okay, but on your point, man, you're right. The United States, it kind of shows evidence that we are the leaders of the world because Israel is trying to copy us. And you see all these democracies, they're like, well, how do we be free? And they see that we're the ones that are supporting pride. This is how I feel. Like we're supporting like pride, gay, all this nonsense.
Right.
And then the world is like, is that freedom? I mean, we are the leaders of the world. And I totally see that. I see that. But like back to the idea of Vietnam, like Ho Chi Minh, the way that he got communism to be supported was like he got help from the Chinese government, and they, like the foreign nationals, they gave them supplies, they gave them all these things. They funded the war against democracy. I mean, if they have the power to do that, then don't we have the power to do the same, like to fight against it?
There's another thing that I forgot to mention about, because if I'm being honest, I don't know a lot about the beginning of the conflict in Vietnam. I know it was definitely maybe the most unpopular war we've ever been in. I don't debatably, but
yeah, no, it definitely was.
I kind of want to bounce this at either Steven or Mark, because I think you guys will know more about what I'm referring to now, which is like all I've really understood, and this is going to make me sound a little retarded, but I thought it was like a false flag attack at the Gulf of Tonkin.
It was. Kennedy didn't want us to go into the war at all, and that's eventually why, Mossad and the CIA had him executed. But we were never really. I mean, they didn't want to, and it's part of all the military-industrial complex. It goes back to that. This is the same with the Korean War. We were never. They didn't want us to get into the Korean War, and then it was a false flag that some PT boats were attacked off the coast of North Korea, because it was the same kind of deal as Vietnam. The North was communist led, and they wanted to take over the South. I mean, and Korea was a lot. I mean, it is a very unlooked war or overlooked war. The most common people don't know much about the Korean War, but it's really interesting. I've been there twice. Very interesting war. But yeah, it had the exact same makings of the Vietnam War. And to me, it was all this military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned about right after World War II. 5 years later, we're in Korea.
What is can you give me like a layman version of what the Gulf of Tonkin incident was? Like,
not exactly. I know it was something to do with missiles, and it was going on at the same time as the Cuban Missile Crisis and the Bay of Pigs. That was a failed coup by the CIA.
Right.
I'd have to do more research on it. I know I'm not, I can't pull it right off the tip of my mind for the Vietnam War, but yeah.
None of us are speaking authoritatively. It's just a discussion about our culture, and I don't know anything about the Korean War either.
Well, my grandpa, he was in the Korean War. He was with the Marines in the Chosin Reservoir. And the stories he told me was that China, like the Chinese soldiers were there. Like they sent Chinese soldiers in, and that they came down, and like there was a lot of them. It was
super bad.
It was crazy. It was bad. It was really bad. But I mean, that's furthering the whole communist idea, is that they were willing to kill a bunch of people to spread the communist ideal.
And Steven, you've been to Korea, so what was kind of your impression being there?
I've been there twice, and I'll tell you for a fact that the Korean people do not like Americans. They do not like foreigners. There's terms for it. I can't remember what the term is, like the actual Korean term. But when they see a Korean woman with an American, usually a service member, because we're there, because there's so many of us there, they call her this. It's a slang derogatory term, and put her down because they do not want us there. There's constantly. I was at Camp Casey, which is 15 miles south of the DMZ. I was there twice. And there's constantly not riots, but I can't think of the term. Gatherings where they're like telling the Americans to get out, to stop training. They don't want us training there. They don't want us because we're tearing up the area. We tear up the streets, dragging all the tracked vehicles in and out of there. They hate us there. That's and especially
weird. Are we still there?
Oh yeah, we're never gonna leave Korea, which is another thing. It's just like all of our bases in Europe. We're out there providing security for these countries with no payment, and there's no repayment. Trump tried to get to hey, you guys got to ante up, for the security that we provide you, but we prop up all these other countries where that money needs to be at home, and those services need to be at home instead of being propped up in other countries. But
it's so interesting to talk about this stuff because it's just not at the front of my mind in day-to-day life how many bases strewn across the country, across the world, America has, and how it affects the culture in those places, and how much of like a benefit strategically it is to Americans and to our country, opposed to this idea of, oh, we're playing world police and like showing power, or it's such an impossible conversation to come to some kind of like simple conclusion on.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been cool. I mean, that would have been cool, like if America existed as a sovereign nation, but it's turned into like world government. So it's just it's the exact opposite of even the people who, I mean, JFK got killed. At that point, America is not a democracy. I think it was George Bush, and then friggin' later on, if you've ever seen the movie with Christian Bale where he's Dick Cheney, when 9/11's going on off and all that stuff, he's justifying it, saying, this is what I need to do to preserve our way of life. It's just like, start all this stuff in the Middle East. It's like,
and then you look at it, and Dick Cheney was in charge, was a CEO or CFO of Halliburton, and had all the rebuilding contracts for the Middle East, and was making money off of the weapons destroying the Middle East.
I didn't know that.
So it's like, it would have been cool if they were actually protecting a democratic republic, but they're turning that democratic republic into a corporate oligarchy that's almost indistinguishable from communism, because communism almost doesn't exist anymore. Communism failed after the Cold War, and they all turned into mainly capitalist economies where they have high tax rates. They do the same thing we do here. It's mainly free market economy, but then they just completely burden the people down with taxes, and it's just like, how are we any different from that now? What are we,
100%.
Yeah, and with this global government, it has caused to a degeneration of American culture. Like, American culture is unrecognizable. Like, it's a meme that if Abraham Lincoln could see America, if George Washington's spinning in his grave, and it's true. Like, these people, our founding fathers, would not recognize this country, and that's beside the technological advancement, because obviously that surprised them, but just the degeneration of the culture, the wickedness.
100%.
And maybe I think the technological advancement has a lot to do with it, with the internet and the way that information.
The internet's the reason for it all. Everything. It's the catalyst. The internet is the catalyst in a lot of things, and
that we're dealing with in culture. I agree. Yeah.
Society, culture, information, the way information is traveled, the way, it's a catalyst event, and it's a huge paradigm shift in the way things worked. The internet's been around forever, but it wasn't until it went mainstream that it really started hitting off, and like stuff started changing and, kind of morphing in a way, like a much different way. I would say I would attribute the mass marketing of the iPhone even to the mainstream of the internet, of social media. And social media has been a big thing for the cultural shift that we're seeing now, because people are able to connect more. They're able to easily connect from people.
You made me remember a topic that has to be mentioned at least, because this relates to what you're saying. Elon Musk, since we last spoke to you guys, Elon Musk went on Jordan Peterson's show and revealed that part of the reason he bought Twitter was because he signed papers to allow his son to go through gender transition. And he stated that his son is dead. And now his son, who claims to be a girl, is on some alternative Twitter site going back and forth. And it's very interesting. Elon Musk says that he could tell from an early age that his son was probably gay and autistic because he'd bring him clothes and want to like dress him up and call him fabulous. But this fucking mind virus of gender ideology has been propagated through the internet to young children. That's really a big way that this gender ideology has been propagated through TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. And until Elon Musk bought Twitter, well, and Tumblr is probably like the roots of it. Me and Leighton have talked about that a lot. A lot of this stuff started on Tumblr, a lot of the gender ideology stuff. Well, and it goes back even further than that to like John Money and the Big Book of Sex and all these experiments. And, there's nothing new under the sun, but there's more people alive now than there's ever been. And technology is more advanced than it's ever been. So
and this might be a little bit out there, but you guys know the dead internet theory, that 90% of the internet is inhabited by bots and not actual users.
I have heard that.
No, I haven't
believe
heard that.
it.
It
I
makes
believe
sense.
it because there was a time when it was genuine and you could tell. There was a time when social media was real and you could tell, but now it's like even reading YouTube comments. When I read comments, it's almost always the same thing, and then it's a generic name with like 4 numbers after it. Almost just look for those comments. Almost every single one
whenever
that exact profile.
You click on their channel, they don't have any like favorites or anything.
I've always
searched something on Google. Like I can search, I'll look up something about Trump. And the AI, immediate, or what is that called? Like text. I don't know.
Now when you Google things, it gives you
disappeared.
Do what?
And then whenever I look up something about Biden, it appears. Like it seems like anything political, the bots or the AI tries
algorithm.
to get rid of.
Well, where I was going with this with the dead internet theory is I was thinking, could this have been a plant, perhaps? Could a organization of people or people who have the interest in the West falling be inserting gender ideology into the internet and spreading it throughout the internet? Because it seems like it's just like in the last decade or last few years, it's popped up like really high.
I think it's pretty obvious China is doing that to us on purpose to make us weak.
Well, the Yuri Razmanov, the Russian dude from the 80s, that said literally the exact same thing.
Dude,
2020 has been all this.
Whoa. I don't know what you're referencing.
They have millions and millions of dollars that they donate to liberals. I mean, if you look up the donations that Google has made, they have donated all
the tech companies
million, and they don't donate red ever. They hate him.
Well, that's why Elon Musk is exceptional, and why him buying Twitter and being personally affected by this gender ideology is important to this whole narrative. But Steven, who is the Russian guy that you just mentioned? Because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I believe his name's Yuri Razmanov. He was on a interview in the 80s, talking about how Yuri Bezmenov. He was talking about how it's part of if it was programmed by the KGB to settle distrust within the American people, to infiltrate the universities and promote liberal propaganda and to promote liberal ideologies and homosexuality and all that shit, and so it would cause civil unrest within the United States.
Oh, the universities is definitely a huge target because we see it always cultivating in the U.S. universities. The PSL, the Party of Socialism and Liberation, all of these protests are happening at college campuses. It's no coincidence. And you look at these protests too, and you're seeing they all have the exact same signs, the exact same tents. What's going on? It's not
organic. right?
Yeah.
It's not organic.
It's like
not grassroots.
back in the old days, people made their own signs, but now it's like they're providing the signs. Like it's like they want people like, please come out and like create like a movement of sorts. And it's weird. It seems like there's a lot of plant stuff happening where it's being pushed in, and it's kind of being used as a medium to spread throughout the country to take down the West. I think gender ideology is definitely one of those things. We're talking about the internet, spreading through the internet, through mentally ill people on the internet, through Tumblr, through Twitter, through TikTok. And it's weird because that only started back in 2016-ish, I think. Whenever, like, the first time I ever heard of the term transgender was like in 2016. And
well, I guess I was arguing with a liberal about this, and they educated me, let's say. So let's what is the Jazz Jennings? Her mother, Jazz Jennings, began her transition publicly in 2005 when he was 5 years old. So
holy shit.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's awful.
Jazz Jennings was an incubator, like a test child for a lot of this stuff in the modern era.
Wow. 5 years old. That guy's got to be fucked up now.
Yeah. That Jazz Jennings is one of the few ones, if you look at him, they started the hormone therapy and stuff that it looks like a lady, but it's just because he never went through puberty and his bones aren't the right fucking density. And
well, I feel like Caitlyn Jenner was also kind of a bullet, like a gunshot, it's kind of because once like Caitlyn Jenner mainstreamed the transgender, way of life, nobody really knew what it was until Caitlyn Jenner came out.
If I'm not mistaken, that has a really good landmark on the map of this ideological madness, because I think Caitlyn Jenner received an award for like Woman of the Year from some publication.
Yeah,
right after they transitioned.
Yes.
It all might be like an MK Ultra mind control op, because he's surrounded by these insane women. There was like music videos or something years before that showed him becoming a woman before it was ever announced, before any of that stuff was ever popular.
Oh, so there's a Family Guy joke where they made fun of how gay he was, and and then like several years later he actually comes out as transgender. It is weird.
The intelligence agencies are connected to Hollywood though, and the Kardashians and fucking like TV. God only knows what has happened to Kanye.
Kanye's been through some shit, dude. I think he should be president, actually.
No way. Kanye's on his retard shit right now. He's like talking about how if God real, why bad thing happened? It's like, okay, why did we?
Is that what he's doing? I thought he was still based.
No, he's retarded. He's got his wife running around with her tits out while he's covered head to toe. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
Oh yeah, he's definitely I think he's bipolar or something, so that's probably where it comes from. But
well, yeah,
he's
or they're back on his meds. Or it just doesn't make any sense. Like when he was coming out and saying the most truth is when they said he was having a mental breakdown, and it was when he was running for president and he got on stage and said, "Kim almost made me kill my baby." And he came out and publicly talked about regretting almost having an abortion, saying that he almost killed his first child, and they said he needed to be institutionalized. And then the next time you see him, he's whacked out again.
Yeah, he's got like the mask on Alex Jones. It was like freaking Alex Jones.
Well, this is I think Mark is talking post Alex Jones, and it's interesting because it does seem fishy, because they of certain shows that you wouldn't think would like platform like he like got to have like an apology tour with certain like influential like hip hop figures, and he went on there and like dismissed his Christianity, and just he did the things that he had to do to like exist in the industry still.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he's really bad at communicating. So if we saw him on the world stage and he went to go see other like world leaders, I don't think he would fare well with them. I don't think he would be able to assert the leadership that we needed.
Yeah, no, I don't think
For sure
I'm not
not,
being
yeah.
serious with that. I don't think Kanye West would last very long in the UN.
Yeah.
Well, he is the epitome of a hip hop star. Like, even when I have enjoyed Kanye West, he's like, he is not relatable. He's so arrogant, and people treat him such an alien way that none of us will ever be treated. That it's just a spectacle. Like, he's not a normal person, and he's not a diplomat. He can't be like have like a reasonable like debate or conversation or democratic thing with somebody. He's like, he's the guy in charge in any room he's in, and everybody's saying yes. It seems to be the vibe.
Yeah, it's like we can't have our president having mental breakdowns, during like speeches and stuff, which is why we should not vote for a woman.
Yes, sir.
Well, we can all agree on that.
Oh
Hey,
my
let's
goodness.
Let's say some racist
Kamala
shit
is
while we're
still
here.
there.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Yeah, if that was the case, I think that freaking Leighton would be on a list.
I probably
I
am.
swear,
Leighton
bro.
is on a list.
Yeah.
Leighton is on a list by now.
He's on a list.
The Lord.
Oh my goodness.
You don't even know. I'm probably
I have
on
seen your
somebody's
Twitter,
list.
bro.
The things I've said on like online is like probably triggered something. I get guys. I wanted to
Triggered
announce
a federal agent to look into your background.
Well,
Triggered.
I just want everyone to know that I do not feel suicidal at the current moment.
What about homicide?
If Leighton dies, it's because I killed him.
Yeah. Yeah, Jacob's a Fed.
He's uncovering the big
He's a
one.
proud boy. He's a Fed.
I'll put that on the list.
Man, I do want to talk about the Proud Boys more though, because I think that's like as far as this presidency goes, like that's one of the promises I need Trump to keep for me to like feel like this is going to go the right way. Where there's people rotting in prison for J6, and it's a double standard. Nobody else gets treated that way. They were treated as political prisoners, thrown in isolation. People are still rotting away in prison. Like, I don't know how many people, but I can think of at least like half a dozen that have over 20-year prison sentences. So how many more have just a couple of years? Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Those men are rotting in prison right now as we speak.
It's crazy because like the riot was perpetrated by Nancy Pelosi, and it's crazy because she denied like the federal enforcement, like the law, the police. She denied them to go and help them. And so I mean that it's so insane to see that, see people being treated such a way.
Well, and lots of them, like the people talk about the Proud Boys, like they're Nazis, when the leader of the club was a Cuban that's now spending 23 years in prison for a riot that he wasn't even at because of his Telegram chats or whatever. And lots of these guys are just like veterans, and it's a drinking club. There's the party boys, which like to go and get fucked up together.
Yeah.
And then there's the rally boys that like to go and like protest drag queen story hours. That's what
Jacob, what's
Proud Boys
the story of the Proud Boys? Wasn't it an attempt on Gavin to try to get his friend laid or
Yes,
something?
so Gavin had a producer back in the Anthony Cumia days called Rat that was a virgin, a loser, like 20-year-old virgin. So Gavin McInnes was always trying to get Rat laid, and eventually he started this club more or less to get Rat laid. There was like multiple things. They were also doing no wanks. There was like this black guy that came on the show all the time, and they were seeing who could go longer without beating off. So that's how that became one of the tenets in the Proud Boys. So the Proud Boys, to become a Proud Boy, you had
Based.
you would get beat in, so that they'd all punch you until you could name 5 breakfast cereals. That's how you became a Proud Boy. And which is silly. That's like the doorknob game when you fart in high school, and so anyways, they started this club to get this dude laid. And then Gavin started, because they're like a bunch of beefy dudes in a men's club that like to drink together and are all into Trump. they noticed that Antifa was attacking Republicans. So they started using the club to escort Republican speakers to and from events where they ended up getting in several fights. And that's how they became famous.
At least.
Yep. I mean, it's a long saga. The Proud Boys are an interesting one, really. And
What's
it's
sad
like,
is you can't see a lot of the footage that made them famous. Like they would be defending themselves from people assaulting them in masks and stuff, and they'd be kicking their ass.
The punch heard around the world. Let me see if I can find this. This is one of the most
You almost can't
satisfying
find them anymore, and I think they scrubbed a lot of that stuff from the internet and called it political violence. When you can find plenty of Antifa videos, you can find Andy No getting assaulted in Portland, Oregon. You know, it's just like all the Antifa videos are still there, but you can't have the Proud Boys kicking ass.
There's this one, dude. I think I've had trouble finding this clip before. Yeah, it's probably no, it's not in there. There's an amazing one-punch knockout from this giant Jack's Proud Boy. There's like this Antifa dude with a baton, like running at him and trying to hit him, and he rears back and just poof, and the guy just goes limp, and just immediately fucking. But that guy, he went to prison. That Proud Boy went to prison for defending himself because he got treated like a political prisoner because he's a Proud Boy on the right wing, which is the left's Nazi fucking militia or whatever. You know,
the left has this like crazy Nazi fetish where they like to call everybody Nazis and say, oh, well, anybody that disagrees with me is a Nazi. And they always find these like weird loopholes to be like, oh, well, you know, you're a Nazi because of like, well, you support something that vaguely represents Nazism and stuff. And it's like, what?
And then they're like, oh, we can justify violence against them, but then let's just throw milkshakes at them. It's like they know that it's not serious enough to actually do anything, but that's how most of it started, was them just like,
let's throw a milkshake at a Nazi. That'll stop the Fourth Reich.
Well, and this is an excellent point where the media exposed themselves, where a lot of people, they're like, Trump is literally going to destroy this country. Trump is a fascist, you know, like talking about how something needs to be done. And then somebody takes a shot at him and they go, hey, we don't promote political violence. Like, you know, this is just a guy. It's like, no, you have been saying for years that this guy is literally Hitler. That's why people are shooting at him.
And did you see 48 hours after the assassination attempt, there's a reporter talking to Trump Jr. and he's asking him, is Donald Trump going to turn down the, tune down the rhetoric now? And he's like asking them, it's like, is he going to tune down the rhetoric? Like it's our fault that it happened, or his own fault.
Yeah, he said that he would be nicer. I was listening to one of his latest speeches. He said, I'm going to be a little nicer, but no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I kind of respect him for that. Because like he got shot in the ear, and he's the same exact person that was shot before. Or I mean, before he got shot. And I really respect that.
I was watching news coverage of that, and they said Donald Trump broke his post-assassination vow to be more peaceful. It's just like they're spinning everything every which way they can, and they're just using the same old lies over and over again. Like when Biden came out and did the interview with Lester Holt, he was like, Donald, why didn't you talk about how Donald Trump lied 30 times during the debate? And he brought up, he said they were good people. He brought up, they're bringing rapists and all this stuff. Like he brought up all the old talking points that everyone's seen the full clips 1,000 times, and they know it's out of context, and they know it's just a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just they keep running with the same old stuff.
That Project
they're pushing the 2024 on him so hard. Like they're saying that he's the one behind the Project 2025. And I was just like, man, how can you keep pushing that on him? Like he's said over and over again that he is not behind it. He is not a supporter of it.
Go ahead.
No, you.
Because the liberal, like all the blue no matter who's, all the diehard liberals, they literally have no concept of what is reality anymore. They will literally just sit there and scream. I had a very good friend, literally like very good friend, been a very good friend for a long time. I can't be friends with him anymore because he literally thinks that Trump is pure evil incarnate, and everything that he does is like just outrageously. And I couldn't even reason with him. I'm like, I have no like.
There's
how
no
can
reason
you,
with them.
as an adult male,
the goal
you know?
is to beat
That sucks,
Trump.
man. I hate that. I hate that.
The goal for the Democrat lefts is to beat Trump. That's the entire goal. That's their entirety. And that's a terrible thing to run your campaign on, is to beat the opposition. You have to have beliefs. You have to have reasons. You have to stand for something. And so far, all they've stood for is gender equality nonsense. And I hate that, because they're
and critical race theory too.
Children. They want to kill children, basically, like they're evil.
Yep.
And it's so messed up. It's so messed up.
The next 6 months, boys, it's just going to be like, we're sexist and racist because we don't like Kamala Harris. That's the narrative.
Beast.
Welcome home.
But what was I gonna say? There's like a point that I was gonna. Oh yeah, I was talking
Dude,
about
look at this shirt we found at the Five Below. Clayton's got
I
it
think
on.
I've seen that at Target.
What is it about black people wearing the most ridiculous shit too? Like, what if I walked around with a shirt that said "White King"? Like, I see people and shit like that all the time.
Well, Jacob, this is the kind of stuff that people like me need to wear, you know. And
right,
I'm moving the Black Revolution.
You're so brave, dude.
Brave,
dude. It's insane. It's so insane. The Black Lives Matter movement puts Black lives above all other lives. Everyone's life. It's a racist movement.
Well,
I mean, that's the past.
Well, we was kings.
It's a front for Marxism. Don't think that it actually cares about black people. It doesn't. Yeah. When Black Lives Matter protests were happening, gun violence in Chicago fucking like doubled. So it was bad for black people, and it's a grift for Marxist ideology. And the founders of Black Lives Matter had to take off of their website. The lesbians that started it, we are trained Marxists. We are working to deconstruct the nuclear family. So it is inherently anti-American, and it's a front of social justice, as if we have some new civil rights movement, as if everybody doesn't have the same fucking civil rights as it stands.
Didn't the founders get like charges for embezzling money too? That was supposed to be donations.
I think
exactly.
They were spending lavishly. They were living great lives.
Hey, did they move into black neighborhoods? Oh no, they bought $1 million mansions in white neighborhoods. White.
Well, that's part of the reparations.
Yeah, we owe it to them.
Listen, we was kings, okay?
Actually, they just did King Tut's DNA. They found out he was white.
Yeah.
European DNA.
He was the king. Oh, this is crazy, guys. I can't believe I'm going to talk about this on the stream, but like, there's this one conspiracy theory that there's this like black guy named Yakub. Okay, and he like invented white people because he got mad that people were making fun of his forehead, because like in the pictures he has like a massive forehead.
Do you know who actually believes
theory
this?
with it like ties in with We Was Kings.
Probably
but he believes that like they like believe that Yakub created the white race and he was like a black guy with like a giant forehead and he was a genius, you know.
But the primary people who propagate it,
but I totally understand that, because
it comes from the Nation of Islam. If you've ever heard of Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, they're black people who basically like the same way Mormonism takes like Christianity and says this is about white people in America, and like completely twists everything to be about a race identity. It's black people doing that with Islam, and then they have this belief that like this ancient black scientist with a giant head, his like cone-shaped head, amazing scientist. He had to be a genius because his head is huge. Genetically engineered.
Brain, Mark. Big brain.
Oh, that's great.
Here's a picture of Yakub right here.
Oh
god.
The dude has a huge head.
And that guy,
it's a deviant
genetically created white people.
Yeah.
Have y'all heard of the feng shui, like Chinese religion. Well, it's a banned religion in China, but they came here and they all moved here to the United States, and they have like this show, right? But their beliefs are, if they stay faithful, they get whiter.
Do they really believe that? These people are persecuted in China. These people are persecuted hardcore in China, and there's a ton of American immigrants of them. I forget what it's called. I know exactly what you're talking about because there was a public access channel. I think it was some Republican channel, but then these Chinese advertisements for like this Republican Chinese. Oh, Chinese history is not all communist. There's some good Chinese history, and then their founder and oh, dude, it's so weird. I fucking forgot about that. You tripped me out.
Yeah. Their beliefs is like aliens came down and made it's a pretty messed up and racist belief. I'm not gonna get you wrong, but I mean they have the right to believe in what they want to believe, but it's retarded.
Well, dude, it's funny that you're saying this. I researched this a lot, and I saw a documentary because they're into musical theater. They have a production. It was just in Springfield this year, a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's a black bass player from this famous band. I don't remember what his name is, but he joined that cult and he was like teaching them how to play music in this documentary. Anyways.
What if there's this other conspiracy theory that I've been hearing a lot about? It's on the right, right wing, like the very extremist version. And it's I can't remember what it's specifically called, but I was telling Jacob about this. So Nazis believe that there is a kingdom in Antarctica, right? There's like a gateway to a kingdom in Antarctica, and the Earth is hollow, right?
Hyperborea.
And every blonde-haired, blue-eyed white person is gonna go there, and it's like the heaven. Like it's fucking bad shit. Like
I think I saw a movie.
Let me be honest. Neo-Nazi stuff. We think it's all terminally online shit, and you have to be batshit to believe in the stuff they believe.
To backpedal a little bit, have you guys seen the stuff about Yasuke, the Black Samurai, and Assassin's Creed and?
Oh yeah.
No, oh man,
it's crazy.
Catch me up.
There was a Black Samurai.
So this story's been propagated since like 2015, 2016, that there was a Black Samurai in like 12 or 1300 in Japan. But now the Japanese government is actually like putting their foot down. They're like calling it all bullshit. Well, it all came out that it's all traced back to this one white dude that essentially made this story up and cross-referenced himself to put the story out. He like deleted all of his socials and stuff. So in the Assassin's Creed game that they did, the newest one they just came out with, you play as Yasuke, the Black Samurai, and it's all based on this white dude's fucking made-up story. The Japanese government's outlawed it and fucking absolutely pissed about them.
So we speak about BLM, right?
What?
So we speak about BLM. The original kind of precursor to all the BLM riots that happened in 2020 was the 1992 LA riot. What are your guys' thoughts on that event in history?
With the Rodney King riots.
Yeah,
I think the Sublime song.
I think that it was a reason to commit crime. They whenever the riots happened, you saw more looting than anything, and I feel like it just inspired people to just go and take what they wanted, get richer, and do things along those lines. And it was messed up.
Jacob looks like the Chud Jack right now.
There was some serious, cool American stories that came out of the LA riots, like the rooftop Koreans.
Yeah.
I was just looking them up right now. That's what. Yeah, the rooftop.
The government
Koreans,
told all these Koreans to not protect their shops, to just let them loot them, and then they saw the damage they were doing, and they were just like, "We're not going to be able to reopen if we don't protect our shops." So they went and freaking got on the rooftops and would just shoot wildly at people like they were known as being dangerous. So it's just like,
yeah, I
that's
was
America,
I
baby.
was looking that up today, and that's kind of what made me want to like ask what your guys' thoughts on the LA riots were, because I wanted to bring up the rooftop Koreans for no reason.
This guy in the bottom right, look at how happy he is.
Super bass, dude.
So sick.
No, it was
That could
the LA riots was 100% because of Rodney King.
That could be Ryan Cassie.
Yeah. Anyway, Steven, explain the LA riots.
Because Rodney King, he was a very prominent soul R&B artist at the time. He got pulled. I think he was drunk driving, but that doesn't excuse the fact that like there was police brutality, and it was racial police brutality. But like afterward, and they beat the video is pretty bad. There's video, you can find the videos of it, and they beat the fuck out of him.
I agree. It's a very disturbing event that happened, but
well, let them keep explaining it. Fuck, you don't have to like cover your ass. You won't get canceled for this part. It's okay.
No, I was just gonna say I think that's the one time where I think riots were kind of like, okay, I get it,
I would say being angry was okay at that time, but
yeah,
I would say that a lot of people abused it.
Oh, 100%. But they always do. They always will.
They're like, because this was like several organizations that were involved too. The Mexican Mafia, the Crips, the Bloods. Obviously the Crips and Bloods are going to get involved in an LA riot, but
well, I don't know. I kind of like, I agree that it was police brutality, and this is a time before body cameras and everything. But yeah, and you can't justify him being beat.
Yeah.
But he was going 100 miles per hour. He resisted the fucking police. There was other people who didn't get beat. He was the only guy who got beat. I wonder why. And then
look at the George Floyd shit. I mean, tried to use counterfeit cash, high on fentanyl and all, who knows what else. And they made him a fucking savior. They made him a saint.
Right. Well, and this narrative, there's a popular musician in town. I think he's kind of a black supremacist, but we're on speaking terms. His name's Jin JX. He's like a jazz guy. He's very prolific, as he's written in magazines and stuff. But me and him talk when I see him out, and I was kind of just like, I'm tired of all this shit. I want to go back to the 90s when, all this racism stuff was over. And he's like, what, when Rodney King was getting beat? I'm like, come on. Like that was the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
That's when things changed in culture. In 1992, you have the LA riots, the pendulum swings, and then in 1995, you have the OJ murder trial, where you have a completely politicized, race-based trial for media completely spinning everything, and then a black guy gets away with murder. So
and black people knew that he was guilty and wanted to see him get away with it as reparations. People don't remember that part, but it's like that was the vibe at that time. Was like that was such a contentious trial, and it did change our culture a lot because he was exonerated of fucking murder.
Well, the whole thing, you see the riots happening. The riots, look, that's uncalled for, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
The whole thing is they started stealing from people who didn't deserve to be stolen from. Like, they had nothing to do with the Rodney King riots. It was ridiculous. It really was. I mean, that's not going to get your point proven. It'll show that you've got the United States they're messing up. I mean, but at the same time, it's hurting innocent people, and I'm not behind that.
I'm having to filter out a lot of racist thoughts that are going through my head right now.
Racism. Oh my goodness.
Why would they destroy their own city? I don't get it.
Hey, good point. Good point, though. They just hurt themselves.
Yeah, let's make sure Jacob doesn't bring up TND on this episode.
I'm sorry, Leighton. What was your name when you first joined the server tonight?
Oh, yeah. We won't get into that.
I need to. Anyways, fuck boys. We've
Was it
been
racist?
everywhere with this one.
Yes, very.
We've been all over the map. Well, see, and like I'm glad that we got a little racism in. So now people can discredit me with these clips when I have legitimate arguments. That's great. It's good.
We got a little bit of racism, so then we can become social media famous from
What?
Brittany Tyler calling us out.
And
Well, that's why you're not going to get elected president.
I don't want to be president.
These
All I
videos-
want to be able to do.
Well, that's why we're gonna stage a coup.
Part of the reason I have.
Can we watch?
What's
Sorry,
it,
can we watch Matt Walsh's trailer for his new movie?
Yeah.
New documentary called "Am I Racist?"
Yes, that's great.
What?
Yes,
I'm
dude.
bringing
You
it
haven't
up
seen
right
this,
now.
Steven?
No, dude.
It looks good. I've
No.
seen the trailer. It looks really good.
He
If
said
you
that
don't
a
know-
lot of the best stuff is not in the trailer too because they didn't want to spoil anything, and I kind of believe Matt Walsh when he says that. I'm excited. To see
Now,
it.
if you don't know, Matt Walsh's "What Is a Woman" is what red pilled me.
Dude, I've got to get the Daily Wire.
What's happening in this country? It's Nazism. Republicans are Nazis. You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Growing up in the 90s, I never thought much about race. Sure, you noticed, but never really seemed to matter that much, at least not to me.
Being a white, straight, cisgender man, it's the top of the pile.
I'm on the top of the pile. That's me. Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you left.
I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
Can you please leave?
If I'm going to sort this out, I need to go deeper undercover. If I want to be an ally, I need to look like one.
What is
It's the man
racism?
bun,
Martin
definitely.
Luther King said not to judge people by the...
Martin Luther King said a lot of stuff.
Is America inherently racist? What the hell is that?
The word inherent is challenging there. America is racist to its bones. All of the...
So inherently.
Yeah.
The entire system has to burn. And I'm not going to even use save this country. This country is not worth saving. This country is a piece of shit.
Is that Kamala Harris?
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna. Yeah.
Sorry.
They gonna say I'm racist.
Joining us now is Matt, certified DEI expert.
Here's my certification. Where are you guys on your anti-racist journeys? So I'll look around the room and point to who we believe is the most racist person. You want to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument? Would you mind signing it? You will? What do you think about this issue of heteronormativity and how it intersects with the broader structures of racism in society?
They gonna say I'm racist.
What's up with white people?
Oh, I love it.
What are you doing to decenter your whiteness?
Who's making it the center? Why are they doing that?
And what you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. This is more for you in this view. White.
Folks.
White.
Trash. White supremacy. White woman. White boy.
White.
Entitlement.
White.
Centering. White. Silence.
Is there a black person around here?
There's a black person right here. Does he not exist?
They gonna say I'm racist. But they call everybody racist.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. And what's your name?
I'm Matt.
Matt. Hi,
Yeah.
Matt.
Nice to meet you.
Just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
I'm going to be too careful.
They gonna say you racist.
It's funny that none of them recognized him too.
Dude, that's Robin DiAngelo, the author of White Fragility, the New York Times bestseller. Like, how the fuck did he get an interview with her? How does she not know who Matt Walsh is?
Yeah, how?
Something I like to do whenever we go to things, I like to try to look as different as possible each time so they can't recognize
You
me.
have had some
You
good
know.
disguises, for real. Oh, and I was thinking while we were watching this, I saw a meme. It's not an original thought, but it is funny that the same party that doesn't know can't fucking tell you what a woman is like, we need this one because it's a woman. It's like, come on, guys. Come
If
on.
you guys haven't
True.
seen it yet, go watch What Is a Woman. It red pilled me.
It is very good.
It is very well done. It is. I don't know how good this movie is going to be because I haven't seen it, but What Is a Woman did really good.
I bet it's good. I bet it's good.
Lady Ballers. Did we ever talk about that on the show?
No, and we never will.
Why? Is it not good?
We don't cover that gay stuff.
It's cringe, dude. Totally cringe.
Or Jeremy Boring. I mean, that's kind of when I wanted to like know more about Jeremy Boring, but then how he's acted since with like the firing of Candace and all that stuff, I'm just like, forget about him.
Yep.
Wow.
I kind of feel the same way.
There's I'm on Twitter right now and I'm looking at a picture of like it looks like a pride parade, and this dude's literally got his nuts hanging out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we
at the
accidentally
Olympics.
showed that at the beginning of the show.
That was
Yeah.
at the Olympics. They had a guy with his nutsack out at the Olympics right in the opening ceremony show with the drag queens and the fat lady.
If it's good
It's
for
indigenous nudity.
And yes, the cripple spinning around to Darude Sandstorm.
Dude, I feel like, you know, Trump said something where politicians always go back to their original, like what they originally were saying. I feel like the Olympics is going to do the same thing. They're going to go back to being naked, running around, doing some crazy shit because like that's what they used to do. You know, it was naked athletics. And so I feel like they're going to be like, look, if you want to lift heavy ass weight, you got to do it naked.
This does you make me think of this conversation I had with this naked dude. No, I'm just kidding. But for real,
oh, a naked guy.
There was I was playing music on South Street last night, and there's a group of street preachers that kind of live in like a commune of sorts. They're not communists, they're Christians, and they just don't want to be a part of the world. I like them. They're cool people. And I always talk to them, and this one, Walter, very nice guy. We got to chatting. He watched my guitar and stuff while I went and took a piss. And so I came back and we talked for a while. And he made this point to me, and it was something that I've thought about before that I hadn't thought about in a while. And he was just like, he just had this piece about him where he's like, you know, this might be the end of America, where we were talking about God's will. And, you know, and it's like, I hope not. But, you know, if things are going to degrade to the point where the Olympics go back to being naked, then America's probably not going to be an entity. You know, that's what made me think of that. But, you know, I hope that it's God's will to preserve this country and that, like, that we'll be like a shining city on a hill. You know what I mean? Like we'll have another moment of prosperity, but just the amount of NPCs really does make me feel hopeless sometimes. Like, yeah, you know, the scripture is pretty clear about the world, what the world is, and everybody's like super deceived. So
yep.
I'm not trying to be a doomer either. I'm just trying to like,
I think I know who you're talking about, Walter. He's the guy with the beard and he, yeah.
Well, they all have beards, but you probably have talked to them since you played music.
I've met those guys. They go to Fayetteville and Springfield. I was playing music in Springfield, actually, and I was singing about Yahweh, and I had a conversation with him. He came up, and he was like, you're using the original name. I'm like, yes, I am, and I think it's important. Yeah, no, I remember before I became a conservative, I would talk to them. And I would argue with them a lot because they had these signs up that was like, abortion's bad, blah, blah, blah. I was a total libtard nutface. And like we would have like very long debates. And yeah, no, that guy, he's cool. He is cool.
They go to Fayetteville too?
Yeah, they're everywhere. They are everywhere.
But yeah, going back to the Olympics thing, Steven and Patrick, did we show you that video that I was talking about?
We don't need to replay it. I was kind of curious what Mark or Steven's kind of take is on that. Like, as far as like, I mean, what is your feeling right now? Like, looking at the cultural landscape, what do you hope is going to happen? What is kind of like your prediction? Steven, you start.
My prediction is we're cruising right for Revelation, you know. No, I like
looks like
seeing all that stuff. I mean, I saw the stills of them mocking the Last Supper and everything, and you know, it's everybody nobody wants to believe in Jesus, but man, they sure love to fucking hate on him.
That's right. Why don't they hate Muhammad like that? It's almost
yeah.
Like
why don't they hate Muhammad? Why isn't it cool to hate Muhammad? Why isn't it cool to hate on Israel and hate on the Jews? It's only cool to hate on the Christians, you know.
Well, dude, it's
France,
because we're the
they would dare offend the Muslims with the amount of immigrants they have in France.
Oh yeah.
Well,
France and
the reason Christians get mocked so much is because we are the actual religion of peace. Our Messiah,
100%.
Our prophet walked a life without any violence. Their prophet fucking killed infidels and married children. So
yeah. Well, I mean, even in the Talmud says that the goyim, anybody that does not have actual Jewish descent, is beneath them, is like swine.
That's not necessarily true.
That is
the goyim was intermingled with Israel, even whenever they left Egypt, they had a lot of like everyone was with them. Like they had a lot of people with them, and they were supposed to treat them with respect and like give them jobs and things like that. But they were never told to treat people as they were beneath them.
I mean, you're talking about the genuine form of Orthodox Judaism where the Goyim are Gentiles. God always had a plan for the Gentiles. He promised that they would be grafted into the Old Testament covenant. So it's like, even in the Old Testament, Gentiles really aren't like that bad. But after Jesus came and the Jews kept doing their oral traditions, that's where you get things like the Talmud, where they blaspheme Jesus. And that's where they take everything into a totally ethnic-centered direction. It became a religion that's almost void of any type of supernatural beliefs.
Yeah.
They don't even believe in the Torah anymore. So it's just
the Talmud is completely tradition. It's nonsense. Really, like it's man-made. Like and that's the whole difference.
I see plenty of accounts of Christians visiting Israel and being spit on, though. I mean, I don't know. I just
Well,
I'll tell you what.
That just shows how crappy people are.
The funniest name for a white supremacist group that me and Leighton were reading this article about. Oh, Missouri, there's a rise in white supremacist organizations. So we were reading through the names of the organizations, and one was the Goyim Defense League.
I love that.
I know, it's pretty funny. Pretty funny. But
what happened to your Boulder Goy?
Well, listen. We're wrapping up here, guys, and I appreciate everybody coming on the show tonight and talking. And I've enjoyed this conversation a lot. And I kind of want to make the point that we're all Christians here, and just
Christ is King.
Oh, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I don't identify as Christian.
What are you?
I believe in the Messiah, Yahshua, but I do not succumb to the Christian religion. No.
You should just call yourself a Christian. That's confusing.
No, not at all. I just read the Bible. I feel like Christianity has like diverged too much into like what they believe is right, and to like what humans like just what they think is right instead
Christian
of what
just
the word
means
of
little
Yahweh
Christ.
says.
Christian just means little Christ. It was a derogatory term that people called.
Yeah, and I don't
followers
use
of
that
Christ.
word. I use Yahshua, the original name, and like I just feel like the Christian religion is way too broad and it's way too wide to
There's way too many
identify as.
denominations.
Right.
Because there's a million different religions in the Christianity.
I don't
But
know, man. I
whenever
feel
there's,
like
like,
it's
one-
kind of like you're like dodging bullets by not taking on the mantle, though. Like we all take it on, even though it sucks, and people have made it shitty.
No,
with their bad actions.
no. I don't agree. I think it's way more widely accepted to be a Christian than it is to use the original names and just go by what the word says, like the original commandments. And that's what I do. I keep the Feast of Tabernacles. I keep I do the commandments of Yahweh. I keep the Sabbath, the seventh
That's cool,
day.
but it's not essential.
And,
I won't
and
say
it's not Christianity because Christianity accepts Sunday as the Sabbath day. And I'm not that. That's not me.
Okay, well, I'll grill you about it later. I understand where you're
What
coming
do you think about Paul saying that no one is justified by the works of the law?
The works, dude, there's a lot that has to be with the law. Like in a First John, it says that transgression of the law is sin. That's what sin is transgression of the law. And so, I mean, that's why I keep the law. And there's a lot more reasons behind it, of course. But like you said, in the future, you could grill me about it, but I'll grill you back.
You do believe in Jesus Christ. Like, you wouldn't call him Jesus Christ, but we're talking about the same person. You would call him Yeshua.
No, I believe that Christianity is worshiping demons. And I think that...
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
I do. I believe it because like that. It's
how am I supposed to end the show when you're saying crazy shit like this?
I believe it, man. I believe it because it's Christianity. They don't keep the word, and it says many times that the leader of the United States or the leader of the world really is Satan. Satan has control over the world. So mainstream
Who has
beliefs,
control over the world?
Oh yeah, no,
Not
he was given
Christians.
that power by Yahweh.
Not
Yahweh
Christians.
gave him the power to control the world right now. And it says that over and over again in the Bible. And so like
he created the destroyer for his purposes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's why I don't identify as Christian.
But
or
this
any
is a
sort of
semantic
mainstream belief.
This is a semantic issue we're having. This is like
I don't even think it's the semantic issue. I think there is a difference in belief.
Maybe there is. Maybe I'm being too generous here.
Christians have the least amount of power in the world right now.
Are you kidding me? Catholicism is considered Christian. And
Yeah.
they own most of the United States. They have the most power. They have their own nation. Yeah, the Vatican.
Who else has their own nation?
Look, man, I'm not saying that belief.
Well, none of us are Catholics, to be fair, and Catholics get annoyed when you group Protestants in with them.
Well, look, all I'm saying, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that the Christians are Christians. I believe that the belief in a higher power is super important and it's really good. But at the same time, it's just that I keep the word of Yahweh. I do the commandments like as the Bible teaches them, and Christianity will tell you that that's not good. And I don't agree with that whatsoever.
I mean, Christianity is essentially it's unique because it's not a works-based religion. It's not a religion about what you have to do to achieve God. It's about God coming down.
Different holidays, Christmas, Easter, all that stuff is based in paganism. And so, I mean, like, it really is. You've got your Yule tree that you got, like, in the book of Jeremiah, it says that to dress up and put ornaments on a tree is a sign of, it just says it's a sign of wickedness. And like, it's a fulfillment of a prophecy that existed way back in the day. And so Christmas, I don't agree with. In every single religion in Christianity says Christmas is the way to go. And I don't agree with that.
A lot of this stuff is propagated by like atheist memes on the internet. Their history is so off. Like the history of Christianity and Christmas, like Christians were competing with pagans, and that's why they replaced the holidays on those days. They were, it was a way to out paganism. It wasn't a way to like mesh Christianity with paganism, even though there's tons of religions that want to do that. Catholicism meshes paganism with Christianity all the time, but it's just there's a genuine form of Christianity, and then there's just a cultural form of it. And
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Leighton's next.
So you don't agree with like Christmas or anything? Yeah, I see the point. My brother was kind of in that path where he was all like, I don't really like celebrating Christmas because it's kind of like lost its point and stuff, you know. That's what my brother said a lot. But
yeah, I wouldn't even quabble with you. Like, to me, like if people if their conscience doesn't permit them to celebrate Christmas. My family, when I was homeschooled until my parents separated, we did not celebrate Christmas. We were a family that my parents were compelled that it was some kind of pagan holiday or something, you know. But
pagans made fires. Are you going to make fires now? It's pagan.
You know, pagans use toilet paper, and also Nazis use toilet paper.
Someone's going to be on the naughty list this year.
Let me get this in real quick, though.
Behind it all is that the whole idea, like Easter and things like that, it's direct relations to ancient pagan origins, where the god of fertility, like the rabbit god or whatever, would go around and do things like that. And I mean, same with February Valentine's Day, where it was a matter of ancient pagan origins, where the god of sex pretty much would go around and dress up as a dog and start whipping women. And then if they whipped women, those women had to have sex with them. And then they would have
Christians came along. Christians came along.
Valentine's Day, bro.
Christians came along. They said, "No, we're done thinking about this stuff. Saint Valentine is a martyr who died
That's not what Valentine's Day is about.
God,
that's what Christians changed it to because they were tired of
the day of love and getting with your woman or whatever.
Everybody, shut the fuck up. Everybody shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
Let's get out of the weeds and get to the heart of the issue.
Is Christ king?
That's the truth, Patrick. Like, I mean, since you're the one in the hot seat here, what are the essentials to salvation?
Yeah, believing in the Messiah Yahshua and keeping the commandments of Yahweh.
That second part could get a little dicey, I feel like, between.
Well, that's like what so far what my beliefs are is that the keeping of the commandments of Yahweh leads to eternal life, and the keeping of the commandments includes believing on the Messiah Yahshua.
Why did Jesus respond when people would call him by his Greek name and not his Aramaic name?
He didn't. He went by Yahshua forever. Like everyone referred to him as Yahshua.
Jesus existed at a point in history when he was.
The Greek is a translated version.
And Greek
Patrick, you gotta let Mark. You gotta let Mark finish his point because we can't hear each other.
There was Aramaic and Greek being spoken at the same time. You're just preferring to use his, his home language. It's like Jesus doesn't care. Jesus is just an English translation that they changed it to Jesus because when you translate Yahshua to English, it just sounds like Joshua, and Joshua is a common name in English. So they wanted it to be a distinct, unique title. So everyone, when you say the name Jesus Christ, they know who you're talking about. You're talking about the one man, God man, who came down, died on a cross for the sins of mankind. We're talking about the same thing. So it's just like the distinction about like you have to get his name right and all that stuff. That's following the law. It's just like you have to get this thing right. We know the thing you have to get right is that you believe on Christ and you believe that he died for your sin, and that's what's essential.
Exactly.
Damn, Jacob, even our outro sparks debates.
I believe that Yahshua the Messiah came down, and that's the reason why we're here, is because he died for all of our sins. And he came down professing to keep the law. Like he said that he kept the law. He
fulfilled the law. He
fulfilled it, but by living the perfect life, which he attended the Feast of Tabernacles, he kept the Sabbath, and he did all those things.
He didn't keep the Sabbath. He would heal.
He always kept the Sabbath, and they said that he broke the Sabbath. The Pharisees said he broke the Sabbath because he ate something. He ate a grain of wheat or something off of a thing, but that's not breaking the Sabbath. He was hungry. Even David broke the Sabbath whenever he went to eat of the showbread in the temple on the Sabbath. Yeah, so that the idea of breaking the Sabbath is totally wrong. He always kept the Sabbath, and
the danger that I would perceive there is like, okay, so we have examples of Jesus breaking the Sabbath. Okay, so
according to the Pharisees,
he's perceived to break it. Yeah. He doesn't break it, but he's perceived to break it by the Judaizers who are not actually being genuine to the Jewish religion.
Exactly. So, yeah. They were just keeping the law, and that's what they believed. Like they were keeping the law but not believing, which was wrong, and they took power from it. They were taking way too much power and using that to make money. And that's not what
I think our differences are mostly semantic, unless
I'm sorry, what does semantic mean?
Semantic is a language. It's a dialectical issue. So we're talking about the same thing, but we're calling it different names. I mean, that's literally what's happening here. But do you think that people have to observe Passover and observe the Jewish holidays to?
I don't think they should observe the Jewish holidays. I think they should observe the biblical holidays that are in the Old Testament, the days that were made for observance. I mean, it in the Old Testament, it says to observe these things forever and ever throughout all your generations. I mean, what's an Israelite? What even is an Israelite? Today, it's the people that believe and that keep that are doing the law. That keep the law. And it's not about keeping the law. It even says that circumcision is nothing, but that was a law back in the day. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's a choice you make.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I believe. And so I was just going to let that be known.
You just threw me off. We had to get into that.
Absolutely. I mean, we can get into it again.
I'm sure we will.
Absolutely.
Does anybody else have any comments before we move away from this?
I would just say that like no one is justified by the works of the law. We're saved by grace through faith in Christ alone, and that even things like the Sabbath, when like it first shows up in the Bible, it's showing you very clearly like what it means, and that God created everything for 6 days and he rests on the seventh day and he blesses it and makes it holy. So he's showing you the distinction between work and rest. And really every day is a Sabbath day for a Christian because we rest in the work of Jesus Christ. So it's just like Sabbath that's why it's like, it's not about whether you worship on a Saturday or a Sunday. It's that we worship Christ because he is our Sabbath rest every single day.
I don't think that's biblical at all. There's nothing in the Bible that says that.
Well, it's kind of like the idea of like his yoke is easy. You've heard this. You know, like I get like what he's saying is kind of like a poetic thing. Like in the Christian life, suffering is closeness to God. So our labor, we do it in joy because we are part of his kingdom. Like I understand what Mark is saying. I don't think that's heretical, but
it's like I don't even have to worry if I'm getting the law right or not because I can rest in Christ. It's not about what I do and what I don't do. And it's not about my performance. It's about his performance and what he did.
Look, I enjoy theological debates. My main issue is that it says what the law is in the Bible, so we don't have to worry about it at all because it's right there.
What is?
And it's right there before our eyes.
Like are you talking about the 10 Commandments? What are you referencing?
Oh, the 10 Commandments, the Sabbath day.
Are you talking about all 600 Old Testament laws need to be
Old Testament laws except sacrifice because whenever Yahshua came and died, he was the sacrifice, and that's biblical. That's in the New Testament. And so everything except animal sacrifice is still prevalent today. Whenever Yahshua came down and died as our Passover sacrifice, it said that all these even in the Old Testament, over and over again, it says all these animal sacrifices are like odious and they're not good. They're pointless. They're vain because you think you can go sin and then go kill an animal and it's all right. That's what the Jews were doing.
You're contradicting what I thought you had just said to me, which is like, yeah, there's like, it's not like, yeah, you should be aware of observing these traditions, but it's not essential for your salvation. Now I'm hearing, all of the Old Testament law is essential. Like you have to.
No, like, that's not what I'm saying at all. No, I'm saying the sacrifices aren't essential and they're not important, but every other law that did exist. In fact, today's government is based on Old Testament law, like our like the laws behind stealing things and stuff like that, and how
I don't disagree with any of
you
that.
have to pay. Like, okay, back in the day in the Old Testament laws, when you stole something, you had to pay it back. Like I think it was 7-fold. So if you stole a sheep, you had to pay back 7 sheep, and if you didn't have it, then I don't know what to say. But that's kind of the same today because there's you steal something and you have to pay back what you stole and then also pay for the damages that happened. And it's much more expensive than what you took in the first place. So that's biblical.
Our law isn't working well, so that appealing to our law being a consequence of divine scripture, in this particular instance, does not bolster your argument well because the law is being ignored so much right now.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. That's the issue. I agree with that completely. And that's why our nation's probably going through such a tumult, is because the Most High is seeing that we're kind of like agreeing with all this transgender shit.
We're facing
which
judgment.
Kind of stems from the belief that everything's all right and everything's all good. It's not. Things are terrible. It's not all right and it's not all good. And so, I mean, that's the main issue behind Christianity is that all of everything you're doing is all right. It's all good.
No, that's not.
That's
not Christianity. That's not Christianity.
That's not true.
No, everything's forgiven. Everything's forgiven. So it's all right. Everything's forgiven.
Yeah,
and the only people that can
non-denominational maybe
at like a Methodist church or something, but Like even Paul, like when Paul was talking about salvation, they got confused. You might remember this story. They said, "Should we sin more so that grace abounds?" And Paul was like shocked. He's like, "No, what? Like
go forth and sin no more."
That's right. Go forth and sin no more. And the deception, the counterculture is the free love thing, the free love of the 60s, and it's all right and it's all good and peace, love, and all, there's God is this one thing and everybody's right. We're all pointing at it from different angles. This new age paganism is the free love thing, sending people to hell. That says, don't worry about consequences in the afterlife. There are none. This is all just fun for you. This is all good for you. Where Christianity says, hey, some people are going to hell and some people are going to heaven. Who are you?
Yep.
Damn.
And if you're truly saved, you wouldn't even be called to sin.
That was
right?
a can of worms.
Right.
I like this can of worms. I
got a pretty good video to end us off. I saw this on TikTok the other day.
Yeah, we better, dude. I really do appreciate this conversation.
But this is good.
I do too. I do as well.
I feel like we could definitely go deeper with it on a future episode, but that's up to Jacob.
It'll probably happen naturally. I mean, you guys are like the bros, like our main viewers and like contributors and shit. So it'll probably happen again.
I really enjoy it. I think that what makes a good show is stating our beliefs and being convicted behind it. And so I'm with it. I like it.
Yeah, just authenticity, just being real. That's what I'm all about.
Okay, I can't decide between ending the show off with the Willy Wonka mega church thing or the virtual sin forgiveness.
Pick the one that will make me want to kill myself less.
Probably this one. All right.
Very good.
I absolve you of your sins. I absolve you of your sins.
The ragdoll.
That's good.
Thank you everybody for watching. Until next time, it's been Late Night Freedom Stream.